Hey, in this video we are going to talk about the Milgram experiment, sometimes also called the obedience experiment. This experiment was conducted by Stanley Milgram, a psychologist at the Yale University in 1960s. Milgram started his experiments shortly after the trial of the World War II criminal Adolf Eichmann. Eichmann's defense was he was just following instruction when he ordered the deaths of millions of Jews. Milgram wanted to examine the justification of genocide offered by the Nazi. Let's have a look at the Milgram experiment setup. We have this shock generator that starts at 30 volts and goes all the way up to 450 volts. Some of the switches are labeled with slight shock, moderate shock, and severe shock. Final two switches are simply labeled XXX. We also have the people participating in this experiment. We have the teacher, the learner, and the experimenter. The teacher is the actual test subject. He will be the one delivering the shocks. The learner is an actor who is giving wrong answers on purpose and pretending to be in pain after shocks. Finally, we have the experimenter who is also pretending. This person is telling the teacher to continue giving the shocks even when the teacher wants to stop. The experimenter is the authority figure in this experiment. As the experiment progresses, the learner will scream of pain, say things like, "I have a heart condition," and plead to be released. At 300 volts, the learner would bang on the wall and demand to be released. After 300 volts, the learner wouldn't respond to the questions anymore. But the test subject is told to continue giving shocks because silence is not the right answer. Most test subjects would ask the experimenter whether they should continue. But the experimenter would say things like, "Please continue. The experiment requires that you continue. You have no other choice. You must go on." So what do you think? How many test subjects continued giving the shock? Well, when Milgram proposed his experiment, he thought 30% of test subjects would continue, but in reality 65% of the test subjects continued giving the shocks. It's important to note, most test subjects were agitated, stressed, and angry at the experimenter, but still continued giving shocks. Milgram explained his test subjects' behavior by proposing that all humans have two states of behavior. We have autonomous state. People direct their own actions and they take responsibility for the results of those actions. And we have agentic state. People allow others to direct their actions and then pass off the responsibility for the consequences to the person giving the order. Milgram suggested that two things must be in place for a person to enter the agentic state. The person giving the orders is perceived as being qualified to direct others, simply put, an authority figure. Number two, we have the person being ordered about is able to believe that the authority will accept the responsibility for what happens. In one way, they don't want any responsibilities. The Milgram experiment isn't without its critics. We obviously have ethical issues, also bias sampling issues. All the test subjects were actually men. Most recent critic is about the validity of the experiment. The psychologist Gina listened to the audio tapes of the experiment. According to her research, the test subjects weren't just asked to continue, but were coerced and manipulated into continuing. Nevertheless, Milgram's experiment has become a thing of popular culture and has been used in movies and series such as Law and Order. I'll add some books and TV shows information in the description for those interested. I hope this has been informative. See you next time. Bye.